You get my head.
So is anybody in the room uncomfortable with needles? Everybody, pretty much? Nobody likes the thought of giving yourself a shot? Okay, how would you feel if you had to give yourself a shot to stay alive? How would you feel if you had to give yourself or one of your kids a shot every single day, multiple times a day, just to stay alive? This is a fact I had to get comfortable with real quick when my son was diagnosed with diabetes about 12 years ago. We were at a regular doctor's visit, and I was just mentioning to his doctors a few things about the fact that he was thirsty all the time. He was doing double diapers more than normal, peeing through diapers like constantly. I thought nothing of it because I had no knowledge of diabetes whatsoever before this, and just by chance his doctor decided to test his blood. His blood sugars were off the charts, and they immediately diagnosed him with type 1 diabetes because of his blood sugars and sent us to Sacred Heart Medical Center for an intense 3-day session of how to treat diabetes and basically everything you can learn about diabetes. 12 years of countless doctor's visits and dietitian appointments kind of makes me feel a little bit of an expert in this topic. I feel like diabetes knowledge is important to know the complications that diabetes can cause, because if you can take care of that stuff before, they won't cause the damage. Today I'll tell you a few things about what diabetes is, the general knowledge of diabetes, the 3 types of diabetes, and some of the symptoms and complications that diabetes can cause. Let's start by understanding just the basics of diabetes. It is caused by the body's inability to produce insulin. The pancreas has one job only. It's to produce insulin. Endocrine.web states that insulin is a hormone made by the pancreas that allows your body to use the sugar from the foods that we eat to create energy. Insulin helps to keep your blood sugars from getting high. Diabetes is caused by the inability from your body to produce insulin or to use it in the proper way. When you have diabetes, your blood sugars can get high for many reasons. It can get high from not enough insulin, from your pancreas not making it, or you're just not giving yourself enough insulin. Too much carbohydrates or too much food, stress, illness. These are all reasons that your blood sugars can be high. Diabetes can only be treated with a combination of insulin, diet, and exercise. There are 3 main types of diabetes. We'll talk about 3 of them in general. Type 1 diabetes, sometimes referred to as juvenile diabetes, or you usually catch this when you're younger. It's basically when your pancreas stops working completely or produces little to no insulin. Almost always when you have type 1 diabetes, you require insulin. Type 2 diabetes is a chronic condition that affects the way your body processes sugar. It doesn't always include the fact that you need insulin, but it can be controlled by diet and exercise. Sometimes medication is required to help your body with the use of insulin. Also, sometimes when you're type 2 diabetic, you might need to have insulin also. Gestational diabetes or pregnancy-related diabetes is when you have high blood sugars just during pregnancy. Basically is just when you have high blood sugars through pregnancy. A lot of the treatments are the same as type 2 or adult onset diabetes. You have to watch your diet and exercise. You have to take medication to help with your insulin, and then also sometimes insulin is required as well. Generally, when you have pregnancy or gestational diabetes, it goes away when the pregnancy is over. There are many signs and symptoms of high and low blood sugars. If you can catch the early signs, you can stop some of the damage that it causes. As stated by diabetes.org, some of the common symptoms of high or low blood sugars include urinating frequently, extreme thirst, extreme hunger, you bruise easily, fatigue, blurry vision, weight loss even though you might be eating way more than you normally do. Some of the complications of diabetes, if you don't control the high and low blood sugars, it can cause brain damage, eye damage. It affects your overall oral health, stomach problems. High blood sugars can lead to kidney disease, sexual dysfunction, nerve and foot damage. According to the CDC, 29 million people in the United States have some form of diabetes. I think it's really important to be educated on the topic of what to look for and how to catch these problems to avoid complications. So I feel like now you should know a little bit about what diabetes is, the 3 types of diabetes, some of the signs and symptoms, if you might, have some things going on that you're not sure about, some things to look out for. I guess in conclusion, I hope that I've given you an understanding of the disease that can be fatal and some information about diabetics and maybe some family that might be a diabetic to avoid disability or even death. Any questions?
Is it only children that, can children get the type 2 or no?
I believe they can, but generally when you're diagnosed at a certain young age, that is type 1.
Drinking alcohol is really bad or fatal in one of them, or maybe it's all of them.
Actually, alcohol lowers your blood sugar, whether there's sugar in it or not, and so the sugar makes your blood sugar go high, and the alcohol brings it down, and so that's why it's dangerous, because you have peaks and lows with the blood sugars.
So I had a friend that died from drinking because of that.
Yeah, very dangerous.
Is that like in the movie when he had to eat that piece of candy? That when he started to almost faint and he had to eat the candy?
So when your blood sugar is really low, you need a fast-acting sugar, like candy or something that's high in sugar to bring your sugars up quickly.
That's hypoglycemic.
That's hypoglycemia, low blood sugars. Anything else? All right, thank you.
You just unplug those.
Is there a special spot yet?